Hi guys, and welcome back to SwitchUp. As always, each week we're going to look at the best sales. Now I'm going to try and split it down the middle this time, so we've got an EU and US region equal split. And if you want to know if the game's available in your region on sale, then just look at the price. There are always some amazing ones to choose, so if I miss out any, then please do pop them down in the comments to help others out. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider sticking around. Right, let's get into the list. If there's anyone that hasn't played it yet, then you really do need to get on board with the amazing Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen from Capcom. I'll try and give you a bit more information about it. It airs on the side of a more action-based RPG, where you travel around with a number of AI-controlled companions that you can design, and these are called pawns, like P-A-W-N-S. Not only that, but you'll have to choose a job system for your main character, which then allows you to develop your build into one of 9 classes. Not only that, but the game includes all of the DLC previously released, so in many ways it's really one of the best ways to play it. Performance is solid throughout. This sale goes on until the 26th, so you've got a bit of time to have a look at it and maybe check out our review. So this time round, Skillshare said, right, we saw what you did last time and we liked it. Apparently a load of you guys clicked through and signed up and did loads of different trials and learnt about how to make videos. And the one area I really need to improve now, I worked on sound last time and hopefully you can hear the sounds a touch better. This time I need to improve the lighting. So I did a little course on cinematography. It's looking at how to convey emotion through the lighting you use and the film. So for example, if I were to turn the light off, all of a sudden it's quite an unnerving film about a very strange British guy stuck in his spare room surrounded by laundry. But Skillshare also want you guys to try out their different courses. If you don't know what it is, it's a platform where you can grow that brain of yours and learn some new skills. They're offering us 2 months free for all of you lot. Be one of the first 500 and you'll get that absolutely free. The link will be down in the description. Enjoy the rest of the video. Next up then, we've got a bit of a theme here, and it's another Capcom game. It's the Megaman X Legacy Collection, which is currently half price, taking it down to around about £8. Now I hadn't played these when I was a kid, so I've only really got into these because of this sale. And I kind of know what people say when they say some of the boss fights can be a bit cheap, but other than that, they are very fun and I've been enjoying playing through these. They also come with a few new modes, including the X Challenge mode, which puts you against 2 bosses in 2-on-1 battles. And you can explore a massive museum filled with old art and things, which is really cool. For this price, I'd say it's a bit of a bargain. The next game's not going to suit everyone. It's a very interesting little title. It's called Mugsters from Team 17. I reviewed this way back. It's almost like a sandbox game where the world is completely physics based, and using the more than 30 different types of vehicles, you have to essentially just get to freedom and rescue people. It's really quite odd, but it's a lot of fun as well. I enjoyed this one. There's a review of this on the channel if you like it, and there's also a demo if you want to try it out before you buy. This sale goes on until the 9th. Have you ever had those neighbours who just don't shut up and you can hear them banging through the walls, or they decide, I know, it's a work night, let's have a party in the garden? Yeah, we've all had them, haven't we? Well, the next game is called Party Hard, and you play as a dishevelled and unhappy neighbour who decides to end the party via whatever means necessary. It's a really cool little stealth game. When it was launched, it had a few bugs, and it's another one I reviewed, but there's more than enough to sink your teeth into on the 19 levels. There's also quite a few cool moments where you can do things like you used to be able to do in Hitman, where you could use the environment to create accidents to take people out. There are loads of unique and strange events that take place, like the mob might turn up and just start massacring everyone. But if you can go through the stages without being spotted and keeping everything nice and stealthy, it can be quite a rewarding game actually. I enjoyed this. Next up then, we've got the Shinobi-inspired Shadowblade Reload. It's also got elements of Strider in here as well. This comes from Dead Mage, and at the moment it's 70% off, taking it down to a ludicrous £2. I didn't really know a great deal about the game, but it has a heavy stealth emphasis and a lovely slick control style, as well as really nice music. I'm surprised more hasn't been said about this one. There are more than 50 levels, as well as different difficulty modes. I think there's 3 here, and sometimes the difficulty will change the layout of the level to make it more challenging. There are secrets to be found, there's the hardcore mode as well, which is absolutely brutal. Now this sale goes on to the 15th, and for this price it's not the best of its genre. There's one game I can definitely think of that's better, but at £2 it's well worth picking up. Righty then, next up we've got Bulletstorm Duke of Switch Edition from Gearbox. Now I was annoyed because we didn't really get around to doing our full review of this one, and that was a shame because it's a brilliant first person shooter on Switch. They did a great job with the port, it looks amazing, and it's got Hail to the King, baby, Duke Nukem in it. Was that Duke in? I'm so sorry, oh dear. My wife just walked past the door and went, what on earth are you doing? Anyway, it's a first-person shooter featuring Grayson, but you can also change out his character model for Duke Nukem if you so please. He is an ex-member of an elite assault group called Dead Echo, and overall it's just a very cool game. There's loads of good shooting, there are some massive boss enemies that you have to fight later in the game, and did I mention it's got Duke Nukem in it? This sale ends on the 11th, well worth picking up. Everyone always bangs on about Blade Runner, and it is amazing, but there are also a lot of other brilliant films and games in this style. There's a series I'm watching at the moment on Netflix called Altered Carbon. I'm sure loads of you have watched it, but there's also a game on the eShop called State of Mind from Daedalic, which really seems to blend Blade Runner and Altered Carbon into an adventure game that is really clever and it looks beautiful. This one's currently on sale to the 12th, and it's set in and around Berlin in 2048. With the world on the brink of collapse, everyone's sick from the polluted air and water, and a ton of crimes and wars going on, you get dropped into the story of Richard Nolan, who's a journalist involved in an accident, and then it all starts to go a bit strange when he just can't find his wife. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's also then split across an entirely different area, so you play as 2 different characters. Oh man, this easily could have made the best Metroid in our recent list. Next up we've got Dora, and it's the Trials of Fear edition that I bet most of you didn't realise has just dropped. It's a completely free update that adds tons of new content to the game. Now that Trials of Fear edition, it adds 3 new areas, as well as a new giant boss, and some abilities, and even some new music to the game. Now I don't want to spoil it, but they've also included another ending for you to discover. If you're not familiar with the title, it's got a really interesting mechanic whereby you move from surface to surface, hooking on. It's a tough game, there's no doubt about it, and there are times where I got a little bit lost. But it's such an interesting way of presenting a Metroidvania, and there isn't a great deal like this. This is probably one of my top picks for the week in this sale. Next up, and you can definitely tell these are my picks, you've got Truberbrook from Head Up Games. Now this was a lovely, hand-designed point and click adventure title. In fact, all the backgrounds that you can see were handmade and then photographed, so they are actually real sets. Now, unfortunately, Glen was reviewing this one and he hit a game-breaking bug back when we were trying to review it, but now that it's been patched up, I can definitely recommend it as an excellent adventure title. It's set in the 1960s in a parallel universe, and it's a sci-fi mystery adventure. It's fully voice acted and has a really nice soundtrack as well. This sale goes on till the 13th. It might be one worth considering. Last but not least then, we've got the game Echo, or EQQO. It's pronounced Echo, isn't it? Now you can buy the game on its own, or you can buy the bundle, which includes a $1 donation that goes towards the planting of trees from We Forest, which is pretty cool. The game's based around a mother who's guiding her blind child, and it's a short adventure at around about 4 to 5 hours. There are a few hidden items to find along your way, and much of the visual imagery and the temples that you'll find are based around Ethiopian cultures, and the mythology behind it just gives everything a real presence. There's something about this one, I quite like it. If you're interested, then the sale goes on until the 24th. Hopefully then, as usual, we may have introduced you to a few games you didn't know before. Let me know down in the comments any that you're picking up, and if you enjoy the content, then please do consider sticking around. As always, for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see ya!